All right, welcome to Speak For Yourself. I am Jason Whitlock. That is Marcellus Wiley. That dude.
Yes, sir.
We'll tell you why Antonio Brown's crazy behavior is starting to make a lot more sense. But we'll start today with Ohio State defensive end Nick Bosa, the most talented prospect in this year's NFL draft. The young man expected to be drafted right after Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray. Nick Bosa is the anti-Kyle Korver. As we discussed earlier this week, Korver, the white NBA sharpshooter, published a white privilege manifesto for the Players Tribune that is being passed around Twitter like a joint at a Snoop Dogg concert. Based on the Twitter reaction, Korver's piece makes him worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize and is a significant moment in the fight for racial equality. The white man's word is apparently so powerful that the woke ramblings of a 37-year-old NBA journeyman lifted the spirits of LeBron James, Terrell Owens, and a large portion of verified Twitter. We're that thirsty, really. Meanwhile, a day later, ESPN published a long profile on Nick Bosa. At the end of the story, the writer mentioned that Bosa had curtailed his use of Twitter and deleted numerous tweets out of fear that his opinions could damage his career. "I had to," Bosa told ESPN. "There's a chance I might end up in San Francisco." What were those opinions? Bosa thinks Beyonce's music is trash. He thinks Colin Kaepernick is a clown. He didn't like the Black Panther movie, and wait for it, he supports President Donald Trump. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But Bosa's smart. If he continued publicly expressing his thoughts, the controversy would jeopardize San Francisco's willingness to draft him. Northern California is headquarters for the resistance and fascist policing of thought. Bosa isn't a clown. He doesn't want to be the white-wing Colin Kaepernick. He wants to play football and maximize the money he can earn doing it. The truth is, both of those controversial views remind me of 70% of the white dudes I ever played football with. I didn't expect them to share my taste. My best friend in junior high was a white dude named Shannon Furbrush. We argued every day because I loved Magic Johnson and he loved Larry Bird. He thought Jerry Cooney was going to beat Larry Holmes. I knew Holmes was going to beat Cooney's brains in. Our bond was a love of sports, comedy, and food. But now, society, particularly social media, is teaching us to lean into and separate over our differences. This is dangerous and counterproductive. Shouting and shaming Nick Bosa into silence doesn't improve the real world. It creates hostile divisions. It opens people's minds to extremist views and reality TV star presidents. In America, people have to be free to think what they want without fear of negative consequences. The key word is think. I didn't say do. Action should have consequences, both good and bad. Thoughts, no matter how inaccurate or wrong, can't and shouldn't be governed. The silencing of Nick Bosa is more meaningful and impactful than the no-risk made for social media white privilege manifesto published under Kyle Korver's byline. The silencing of Bosa harms racial discourse and the fight for a more just society. All right, joining the desk now is Rick Bucher of Bleacher Report and of the Bay Area, and former Pro Bowl linebacker Sean Merriman. Marcellus, I'll start with you. Do you respect Bosa's decision to curtail his Twitter use and delete old tweets?
Absolutely respect it. Love it, actually. It identifies that he knows what the word professionalism means. And being in the locker room when you're full of guys with talent, and it's all over the place. Some guys are bigger, some are stronger, some are faster, but it's a collection of talent. And then you start hearing the war stories from every single guy about how they grew up with someone who was more talented, but they didn't make it. And the ills of yesterday, before social media used to be, they got caught up in the streets, had a kid too young, had to take care of the family, all those types of issues that just got them slightly off course, and then they didn't last. Professionalism tells you it's not just about talent. It's about perseverance. It's about knowing what to do with your talents and putting them in the proper places. When you understand that your job is to get to the quarterback and not to be this free, thoughtful person on Twitter, which is secondary by a long shot compared to your primary goal, you just realize what professionalism means. Basically, turn that down or turn that off, because in the scope of things that I truly desire, it doesn't matter. Twitter is not a true measurement of who I am. So why do I want to put something out there that's going to come back to undermine me and my success? I love a young man who understands that this is going to keep him on course versus take him off course and have some people perceive him differently.
You know, I respect it, but I don't understand it because this is why. After you post something like that, we've seen all the people that post something and try to delete it. Once you post that one time, it's there. I don't care who you are; it ain't going nowhere. You can ask Josh Allen for the Bills. You can ask Kevin Hart. I mean, you can ask whoever. You post something and that thing is out there. So no matter what you do to kind of backtrack from it, people know what you feel in your heart. So I don't think that changes anything by him deleting or just backtracking what he said, because whoever is an anti-Trump supporter, whoever was really backing Colin Kaepernick in the whole kneeling situation, everything he was standing for, they're not going to say, oh, okay, cool, man, yeah, we forgive you.
I disagree with you.
I don't feel that way, because once you put something out there, I just don't feel like people are going to change the way that they feel about you after you already said it.
They're not going to change the way they feel. I think they're going to change the way they react to you. Because, again, everybody with a brain knows that people like Nick Bosa exist and operate in this world and are actually good people. Everybody knows that.
And good teammates.
Yeah, and good everybody
Right.
knows that. But what they don't want Nick Bosa comfortable expressing his views. And he's giving in to them. And that's why I don't really respect the decision. I understand it. I'm just the complete opposite of you. I don't respect it, but I understand it's a smart thing to do, because what he's doing is like, he knows that there's this group of people that want to police his thoughts and police people that think like him. And he's just like, okay, if I back off and don't do what they consider a crime, they're going to leave me alone. And they are going to leave Nick Bosa alone for the most part.
I can't respect it. I can respect his deciding that he's going to chill when it comes to Twitter. Taking things that you've already said, that you clearly feel, and thinking that I'm going to delete them. Why? Because I no longer believe them, or because I'm going to a market where it might negatively impact me? So you think you can fool me now by saying I've erased these from the memory? No, I know how you feel. And to be honest, when it comes to the Bay Area, I live there. First of all, the NFL is different than the Bay Area. We know the NFL and NFL fans are far more conservative than the average Bear. The 49ers are a far more conservative fan base than the Oakland Raiders. If he was going to the Raiders, I might buy into it a little bit more. The fact of the matter is, Nick Bosa is coming here and saying that I am going to be a chameleon. I am going to change to try to get what? To get you to like me, to think that you are something that you're not. I am all with him saying I'm going to chill on Twitter and I'm going to focus on this thing. But trying to erase his past,
I don't think he is.
that now we're going to look at him different?
And he's right, and that's what the reason why I said it is because I've done this before. I've said something that was taken out of context that I meant was a figure of speech on Twitter, and I literally apologized for it. Not even an hour later, and said, "Hey guys, that was a figure of speech. I didn't mean that," and apologized for it. Anytime a topic of that sort comes up, they will take that tweet that I said and repost it and say, "Oh, this was the guy that said this." So I'm thinking to myself the whole time, well, I shouldn't apologize in the first place.
Yeah.
Because now it becomes a waste of time, because if you feel like that about me anyway, then why waste my breath?
Here's the other part. On Twitter, we shouldn't be addressing subjects that are as complex as race. The biggest problem is you got 280 characters. There's no way that you can make a statement that isn't going to be interpreted or misinterpreted as the person looking at it desires.
Let's judge Nick Bosa on what he's talking.
Well,
Beyonce's music is trash in his opinion. That's not a political opinion.
Okay.
That's not a racial opinion.
Right.
He didn't like Black Panther. He thinks Colin Kaepernick's a clown.
Black Panther's probably the biggest issue that I have with all the things that he said.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I gotta question your taste and ability to assess anything if you think Black Panther was a bad movie.
But you know how much heat I take because I think the last 3 or 4 seasons of Breaking Bad were trash.
Right.
People get really upset with me because I think it was trash.
But here's the thing.
The public thinks it was great. I'm allowed to think that.
Sure, absolutely. And Nick Bosa is allowed to feel the way he feels about Beyonce or Black Panther or
Colin Kaepernick.
or Colin Kaepernick.
And Trump.
But here's the thing. What we're now connecting dots. He's down on Black Panther.
Right.
He's down on Beyonce.
No, that's what
He's
I
down
was
on
saying.
Colin.
That's
Oh,
a
and
leap,
he's
though.
a
We all
Donald
got
Trump
dots.
supporter.
Leap.
We
No,
all
no, no.
got dots.
But we're lumping all of that together and saying, you know what? He doesn't like black people.
But you know what?
I mean, ultimately, that's what
not
it is.
even that's not even the biggest indiscretion. The leap, the connection of the dots. The biggest indiscretion is people assuming that the medium of social media and the medium of Twitter is a full lens into what a person is. Think about it. I can erase my entire Twitter account today. Dare you to come to me and say, oh, you scared of us. I know, I'm creating a path of least resistance. You want to know me? Get to know me. Not privileged to know me? Okay, my priority in knowing you in a public space is getting to the quarterback. So what I don't like is that we're thinking he's a weaker individual or
We
he's...
say weak. I don't think weak. I don't think.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think a weaker individual. I'm just saying don't backtrack because it's already out there. Now you can say you won't just talk about it going forward, but don't backtrack how you really feel about an opinion.
Because, wait, you're acting like this is how he truly feels about everything. You put something out there, you have matured. Kevin Hart, what did he say? He said, that was 5-10 years ago.
And he apologized 3 times.
And you know
and
what?
they wanted him to apologize again.
And that's the point. And you can't win either way. If you erase it because you show maturation, oh, look at you. Why you backtracking? If you don't and just say that's the way I feel, then you got to take the heat from that. If I'm him, I say this is just a presentation of myself.
I get that.
I have now taken down to present the real me
Rick, I want
as
to
a
ask
football
you
player.
this, though. I want to ask you, you said connecting the dots. And I think Marcellus's point is, man, these dots on Twitter ain't even worth connecting.
Man.
And I agree with that
Okay.
wholeheartedly. Because, again, that guy can like Trump, hate Beyonce's music, think Black Panther sucks, and think Colin Kaepernick's a clown, and have a great relationship with Larry Johnson, his defensive line coach, an African-American guy who was quoted in this very same story saying really powerful, positive things about Nick Bosa. And so these dots we're connecting over Twitter, and the media does this, and all the little woke people on Twitter does this. It's BS. It's garbage. And it's unhealthy.
It's a production.
Understood. But you know that, I know that, we know that. So if I put it out there on Twitter, and I know that it can be interpreted however, and it's not a full lens, why am I putting it out there?
Because
that's why I agree with the idea that he's staying off
That's
of
really
Twitter.
your views.
Okay.
The reason why you put it out there because it's right. You're right. It's really your views and how you view certain things. Now it's different to say, hey, I don't really like Beyonce like that. But when you say Beyonce is trash,
Music.
right? Okay, that's fine.
I think Metallica's music is trash, man.
And guess what? If
And
you're not-
Metallica fans can be upset.
Hey, you can
with
say
that.
you don't listen to Metallica, and that's fine. But
think it's trash.
when you start to say all these, when you say all these other things, and then you totally try to delete what you said, in the hearts of hearts, anybody that supported Colin Kaepernick, anybody that supports some of the things that he was going against, they will accept you because they got to. They have to accept you because now you're a teammate. Now you play for them. If you're a fan of the 49ers, and you were supporting Colin Kaepernick, yeah, you're going to support Nick Bosa because he can go out and get sacks for you, but you'll never forget of the things he said for Trump, Beyonce,
And
all
how does
these
that
other
disturb
things.
you? We played in the era, and you played a part of the era of social media and then fully into social media. There was a collection of thoughts always in that locker room that I knew disagreed with me. And who gave a damn? Like, I had teammates that I knew never would invite me over, and guess what? We never had a problem. And now we're into a place where we think we know everything about you because of a tweet and a post, and then we exaggerate that to say that's the fullness of who you are.
Understood. But this is what I disrespect, is the idea that Nick Bosa is not saying, I no longer believe that Beyonce's music is trash. He's not saying, I no longer believe Colin Kaepernick is a clown or Black Panther was a bad movie. None of that. He's not saying that. Or, you know what, I've divested myself of supporting Donald Trump. He's not saying any of that.
No.
He's not saying any of that. But he's deleting those tweets, then why? If you still believe all those things, why are you
delete it?
erasing it
Look,
from the public?
Tom Brady had the Trump hat in his locker room. If Tom Brady finally says, damn, everybody's focusing on the Trump hat, I take it down. Doesn't mean he takes away his Trump support. He takes down a symbol that ignites people unnecessarily. And you think that's not a smart thing to do?
Well, if you're saying I might go to San Francisco, so this is why I'm changing
That's
my
the number
mind.
2 pick.
Yes.
And there's money on the line.
Yes.
And he needs to do, again,
What's my job?
I seriously question whether what he's losing if, number one, as if everybody's going to forget that
Let me ask you this. You're the expert on the Bay.
Yes.
Do you anticipate he will have, because I think he's going to go to San Francisco at number 2. Will he have problems in the Bay? And you know how woke the Bay is. Maybe you're just as woke as the Bay, but is he going to have problems in San Francisco?
How many sacks is he going to get?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, but that's
my
what I'm
job.
saying.
That's why I could delete the whole account. How many sacks? Okay. Don't worry about this account. And let's also set the tone.
But it goes to the character of this, Marcellus, and this is the way I feel. Look,
Character or
I
characters?
have a lot of followers, all right? And I say some things, and I have opinions on the NBA and whatnot, and I have people come back at me, Philadelphia 76ers fans, I love you. I've never deleted a tweet unless it was I got something factually incorrect. If I take an opinion on a team or a situation, like I killed the trust the process with the 76ers. That comes back to me all the time. And people say, well, why didn't you delete that tweet? Because in 2015, when I said it, I meant it and I felt it.
Yeah.
As things changed, sure.
Well, one, don't try to marry your usage behavior onto his, and he uses it differently. 2, if there was a job opportunity in front of you and they didn't even say anything to you, but you knew this could be a hurdle, would you not remove the hurdle?
So do you guys believe,
Yes or no?
do you honestly believe that the San Francisco 49ers,
No.
in their war room, are saying, we'd love to take Bosa, but did you see these tweets? And we don't know how the public is
Nope.
reacting.
Here's what
Do you
they
really think
are
that's
saying.
going to be a factor?
Here's what they are saying, is we just went through the Kaepernick situation. And if this kid is going to wear his beliefs on his sleeve, political or otherwise, I'm not sure we want to deal with that. In San Francisco, we know this area. We know Antifa is active in this area. We know this could be a potential problem with protests and things like that. And so, yeah, I think the San Francisco 49ers are like, hey, that's a good decision, man. You just helped
In a
us out
splitting
bit.
hair conversation, you start to say, is anyone else graded as high? Or do we have any other needs? In a splitting hair conversation, this is not that scenario. Let's not forget that most of this world is not on social media. So let's stop acting like social media is an expose into a real person's character and identity. It is a production. It is a highlight show that you get to produce. You're the producer and you're the star. Put out there what you want. You don't like how it's been received? Take it back. It still is not the full unveiling of who you are.
You don't think he'll have a problem in San Francisco?
No, I don't think he'll have a problem. I don't even think he'll be. His teammates love him. His teammates are going to love him. I think the fans are going to love him for the reason he can go out and get sacks. But I don't think that anybody will forget. If you're one of these strong Colin Kaepernick supporters, if you're on the other side, you might cheer for him because he just gave you a 3rd and long sack or a forced fumble and turn the ball over so y'all can go in for the win. You'll clap and you'll be happy, but you'll never forget how he feels at heart. So why delete it? What's the point of it?
But what is the Colin Kaepernick is a clown? I take that as he prioritized his beliefs over his occupation, which we all applaud. However,
Not all, but
no, we can applaud that in principle. But in actual pragmatic fashion of letting it play out, Nick Bosa's like, I can do both. I can still believe in what I believe in and still go out there and ball. And one doesn't have to compromise the other. But what is wrong with making that calculation?
The bigger issue for me is in saying that Colin Kaepernick is a clown. That leaves interpretation.
True.
In that medium.
Yeah, he has more characters.
If he wants to
should've
stay
filled
away
that
from
in.
that, like what is that? Like what are you saying? What do you mean? So you're leaving it open for
he thinks taking a knee during the national anthem
but that's
stupid.
your interpretation.
You
You just added a bunch of words
Right.
to what he said.
Right.
All he said was, how many words is that? 4? Kaepernick is a clown. That's 4 words.
So, Rick, don't
I think
get
it's
mad.
actually accurate, but
Don't
go
get
ahead.
mad. He just took your advice before you even gave it to him. You said, look, if you get into a situation, why are you arguing these big topics on
Yes.
Twitter? Guess what he just realized? I don't need this on Twitter.
No.
And I take it away, and now you're mad at him. You just gave him the advice, and he already took it before
The
you gave it.
advice you would give him as a dad is what
He just did it.
No.
And you mad at him.
Look, going forward, if he takes this position, I'm all in. That's smart. That's wise, because you made a mistake. To think that you can take that away
That's what I'm
and
saying.
say, you know what? Hey, nothing to see here. Come on, dude. I know what you did. Own up to it, own it, and keep moving.
So I walk in the room, I smell it, but you don't want to hide
Stick
it.
around.
No, I'm just,
Later in the show.
I know it's there.
All right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley. Sean Merriman is back with us. Time now for a big story. Let's move to Antonio Brown, whose outlandish behavior the last few months might finally be starting to make some sense. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Brown's over-the-top push to get a trade out of Pittsburgh was driven mostly by money, with Brown's concerns about JuJu Smith-Schuster encroaching on his role and bottom line, pushing the receiver to take drastic action. I so believe in this report. I think everything AB has done towards Big Ben, towards JuJu, towards Mike Tomlin, all of it was about fixing a bad contract that Drew Rosenhaus had him in. And, you know, money explains everything.
I disagree with you. I disagree with the premise of this article. It was built on a fallacy. Let's just frame this properly. Through one that said it was about money. He was the highest paid receiver in 2017 when he got his new contract. Okay, so that was just a year ago before all the issues of last year. They were on a buddy system, AB felt. Ben Roethlisberger and JuJu Smith-Schuster. AB respected JuJu, looked out for him, but was like being real, he's not on my level, y'all. And after week 12, one Ben Roethlisberger stopped calling Antonio Brown his number one receiver. Remember when he called him out on his radio show saying, hey, man, run a better route. AB is thinking, why don't you stop throwing it to defensive linemen? So here's what I found out in digging up some of the timeline incidents, because everyone is blaming Antonio Brown for the JuJu Smith-Schuster beef. How hard can you ride on this young protege? JuJu started this. Look at this tweet and look at the date, March 10th. I'm ready. If you guys notice on this, JuJu is in Oakland, AB is in the background in Oakland, and JuJu is catching the pass. I'm ready. March 10th, that's the same day he signed with the Oakland Raiders, Antonio Brown. We move from that.
Should he say I'm not ready?
No, I'm gonna get to why that picture is really a problem. I was so blessed to enter the league, play with a Hall of Fame quarterback, 20-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, this hug and love fest. Okay, not a problem with that. You love your quarterback, right? Look through JuJu's timeline and find another picture like that. And that comes 2 weeks after he knows about the beef between Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger. Let's go to this one. Now is the response, the first response from Antonio Brown. Don't listen to any player who hasn't got paid yet. He's kissing up. He's giving an apple in class to the teacher.
Trying to get that money.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I respect that too. Now, here's the thing I don't respect from JuJu. JuJu, you wasn't a part of this. This was a Hall of Famer talking to another Hall of Famer who've been together for multiple years and has been established, right? And Antonio Brown had his issues with Ben Roethlisberger. Why you jump in that fight? Why you wait till the day I go to Oakland, that first tweet? You wait till I go to Oakland on the same day you post a picture of me in the background of Oakland and you catching the pass on a Raider in a game y'all lost. Y'all didn't even win the game. So why do I think this is an issue and a shot? Because I've been there before. I replaced Bruce Smith. And there was a day I could have been like, yay! But you got to be smart and sensitive knowing that you're replacing the great unless you really want to take that shot. There is no coincidence that it's all Oakland in that background. There's no coincidence that it's Antonio Brown in the background. And there's no coincidence of the date. It happened on the same day he got traded to that same team. Y'all got to stop riding on AB and start riding on JuJu.
You know, one thing you forgetting to add in this is that the guaranteed money was different. He might have been the highest paid wide receiver at the time. He might have been, until Odell got that record, he might have been the highest paid, but his guaranteed money was coming to an end. Marcellus, how many times have we seen a team stay away from a guy that's about to get paid? Meaning, oh, he had 100-plus yards running in the first half. Why they ain't giving the ball in the second half?
I've been there. I know
Why,
that.
you know, the ball is down on the 3-yard line. Why they ain't just let him run it in? Guess what? It's contract year. So we're going to start giving the ball to somebody else. We're not going to put you in a position so you can come hit us over the head again. So once AB started to see that it was shifting away to him and he wasn't getting the touches, that he would normally get, and it was going to JuJu. He just beat everybody. He was ahead of the curve.
But that wasn't accurate. He was getting the same touches. JuJu was getting excessive touches, he felt, and he's like, we not the same. But what happened was him and Roethlisberger were on a buddy system. He's like, y'all so cool, y'all so loving, fine. Just give me mine because I'm tier 1. All of a sudden, I'm not your number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, but you know when you go to the team, they're not going to say, you know what, yeah, we know you balled out. JuJu had more catches. JuJu played a little better. We know you had the double team. We understand that. We still going to pay you. Nope. They're going to sit down at that table and look at those stats and say, you know what, JuJu had a better year.
Merriman, answer me this. We've all been here before. Every single game, there's 1,000 pictures of every single play. Why that picture?
No, I mean, he could have used...
Why that picture, Merriman?
Look, I don't see...
You don't think that's a shot?
Why
No.
not that picture?
Because why not that picture? The day he goes to Oakland is the day you show him in the background and you playing against Oakland?
The day you become the number 1 guy and the day everybody's like, oh, they lost to Antonio Brown, that's the very day I'm going to be like, I'm ready.
You ready. But why are you now jumping into something that you weren't even involved with? If you saying you ready...
He wasn't involved.
Hold on,
we
hold
just
on,
said
hold on.
he's on a buddy system with Ben Roethlisberger, so he's obviously been involved.
Thank you. So now you're making my point. So now that's what all Antonio Brown's beef is. He's basically saying you took a side. And good for you, JuJu.
He took a side. He asked out. I'm off the Pittsburgh Steelers
Would you
side.
not ask out for a quarterback that you don't believe would get you the ball as you should get?
AB took
would you
the
not?
side first.
No, I
went
get it.
out of Pittsburgh.
Brother.
JuJu is still in Pittsburgh. The check is going to be signed by the Rooneys, not the Davises. Big Ben is the key to him getting his money, not AB. It's over.
Time out. You're not understanding this. JuJu could have easily just said, I've always respected you, like he's been saying, and showed that through action. Don't just say you respected me and I was all for you, brother, but then as soon as you gone, I son you with this.
I'm not letting JuJu off the hook, and I'm not even letting AB off the hook on the way he left the organization. I mean, there was love there.
AB was wrong.
Yeah, no, he was wrong for sure,
that.
but and it was great relationship, not between him and Ben, but the ownership. When the owner got on the plane and went to go see AB, that tell you right there, because you know that a lot of owners just don't do that. There was love there. The only love that stopped is knowing that my guaranteed money is coming to an end. And I know for sure, I see what's happening, I see what's taking place. And you know, you've been in a situation before when you had a number 2 guy, when you were number 1, star just take a little bit of reps. And you coming out the field in third, you coming out the field in third long situations. You looking at the coach like, hold on, what you doing?
I love everything you're saying, but I don't live a hypothetical. I live the actual exact moment that he went through, a transition from you went from 2 to 1. Bruce Smith gone, it's me. What I don't do is have 3, as you want to say, 3 things of coincidence that happen that make you look worse, make you look less.
JuJu's ready. Were you ready?
I was ready. 10 and a half, baby. 10 and a half on a broke back.
Rick Bucher's back, and we're joined now by NBA champion Eddie House. Let's get to some NBA talk, sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. An unusually tumultuous NBA season wrapped up last night, marked by big dramas about big stars, everything from LeBron's disaster in LA to KD and Draymond beefing in the Golden State to Kyrie's constant sparring with the media to Anthony Davis's trade fiasco. It was almost fitting that the season was capped by Magic Johnson's bizarre and abrupt resignation from the Lakers. All right, I'm not going to go first. I want to hear from Rick Bucher. You're the expert on this. Was this a good year for the NBA?
No. It was a great year for the NBA. Now, don't confuse NBA with the game of basketball. The game of basketball may be taking some hits because people are distracted from the actual game. But soap opera sells in sports. The week before the Super Bowl, what were we talking about? We weren't talking about the Super Bowl. We were talking about Anthony Davis. We were talking about that. You have the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers, the 2 biggest markets with 2 of your biggest teams, are going to be the story all summer long. The reality is, the NBA has become a transactions league. People don't...
That's not good.
Well, but you are owning more of the sports landscape than ever before. People may not be watching the games. They may not care as much about the outcome, but they love the NBA because there's a lot of action. It just happens to be more off the court than on.
Good year for the NBA?
Great year for the NBA. I agree with them. These are just these are the symptoms of success. What Grandma used to say, you only beat up what you eat up. You know what I mean? You get close to something, you start nitpicking. Why? Because you all into it. And that's what's happening to you right now. Having a lot of people out there. Oh, look at the NBA. This went wrong. You're consuming it, aren't you? You got that menu of items, of issues.
What's going to happen next?
Guess what's going? They got you hook, line, and sinker, and it's translating because you said it best. If you look at the metrics in terms of landscape and real estate that they are consuming, NBA Twitter, NBA on Instagram, like everywhere you look, impact. NBA is taking over in terms of just occupying your mental space. Whether you actually watch the games and give them the entire 48 minutes, that will translate later down the road.
I agree with both of you guys. It was a great year for the NBA, and you always talk about TV shows, right? That's a TV show.
It's a TV show.
And what real good TV shows have in it? They have some stories of success, some stories of failure, and a whole lot of drama to keep you involved in it. And that's what it was. If you talk about just the drama that went on, people were intrigued by that, like what they hit on. But let's talk about the actual playing, the arrival of Giannis, the historic run of James Harden. Russell Westbrook messed around, averaged another triple-double. And then the young stars coming up.
Today was a good day, huh?
Yeah, it was a great day. Actually, a great year for the NBA. But then the young stars like Donovan Mitchell, Joel Embiid, man, everything about this league right now. Trae Young, Luka, everything about this league is moving in the right direction.
Here's why y'all wrong.
And I really think they had a great year. Let's hear it.
There's two reasons. One, y'all caught up in social media, which isn't the real world. That would be number one. Number two, here's my biggest fact on this. The biggest star in basketball this year didn't even play in the NBA. His name was Zion Williamson, and he played in college basketball. It has been forever since anybody in college basketball has even been on the same planet with anybody in the NBA. That says something about what a terrific story and how fascinating Zion is, but it also says something. And look, it's great that he's coming to the NBA.
Yes.
But again, when he's overshadowed anything on the court, he was the most fascinating person to watch on a basketball court this winter. That's not a good look for the NBA.
Nobody sells hope better than the NBA. All this, we got to have draft picks, we got to have assets.
I don't know. The NFL does a damn good job with that parity.
Okay, but here's the distinction. Yes, in terms of your team being able to go up and make the playoffs or whatever. The reality is, can anybody win the Super Bowl? Yeah. That's a debate for another time.
Cleveland thinks they're winning the Super Bowl. Stop it.
Okay, but they think it. They think it.
The Browns.
Here's the reality. Zion Williamson is already an asset for the NBA.
Yes.
Because you have all of these NBA teams that are in the lottery thinking, oh, we could get Zion. Never mind that when Zion comes in, he's not transforming some team. No. The dude's not that good yet.
In your opinion.
Well,
he needs a better skill set.
No, I get it, but in y'all's opinion.
He's not coming in and leading the team to a championship.
No.
But there are fans who believe that could happen. All they want to do is get Zion. The NBA sells hope. The whole idea of the reality is secondary. The primary is, what do you think it'll be like if Kawhi comes to the Clippers? Or what do you think it would be like if Kyrie and KD?
Games.
Yes, but that hope and that dream
doesn't sit out a third of the games. If Anthony Davis doesn't sit out, again, the NBA has some issues.
You got to blame Popovich for that because I believe he really started that.
Regardless of who you blame, I'm just saying the product, the main thing has to be the main thing. And the product in the NBA,
no. Let me tell you.
Games have to matter and be competitive and compelling.
As the NFL, we were enlightened as a player rep in the NFL meetings to this adage. The only thing that is more valuable than production is potential. Why do rookie jersey sales just go up there and compete with a 10-time All-Pro? You're like, he just got here. Baker Mayfield, top 10. And you're like, he just got here. Anytime you look at the marketing deals, it's always some proven guy or some guy who's up and coming and you're like, I'm looking for JuJu with AB. Like, just respect that there's a difference in resume. So the NBA is also, they're listening to that same adage. And the best storyline to me is the crown on the king starting to wobble. That's the best storyline.
And that's the problem.
That's great that everybody else gets a shot.
I'm going to tell you why.
Here comes
and I hate to do this because it sends things in a somewhat bad direction, but Look at the NFL. Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. They appear really ready to carry the NFL and to light the torch and to take it from Brady and those
One
guys.
bad season.
But again,
I'm
Patrick
missing where
Mahomes
this
just
is
won
bad.
MVP.
I'm waiting for the bad
I
part.
do know where you're
Who in the NBA can carry the torch when LeBron falls?
The conversation
I'm just
every
sorry.
day. That's his point.
Who? Y'all don't have.
Okay,
It ain't Luka.
okay, but
it
here's-
ain't Trey.
All right.
Kevin
You
Durant.
better hope it's Zion. Kevin, he can't do it. Not
Zion,
like
Kevin Durant
I don't think Zion is as big as. I mean, it's a great story, but he's not bigger than the NBA story. He was he was only big because of what he was doing in college basketball, right? He was the
Very
sidebar.
exciting.
He was the
Must-see
sidebar,
TV.
but yeah, he was. But he was a sidebar conversation next to the NBA. All these shows, we watch them all the time. We talk more about the NBA. Zion got slid in
the
there.
last time
You
we
know what
ever
I'm saying?
talked about a college
So-
player in basketball.
You're getting excited over the condiments. It's
That's
the
what-
meat
that's what
and
he's doing.
potatoes
Right,
of the NBA.
yeah.
You're like, oh, that mustard.
He like that. He like them appetizers.
LeBron's not gone yet either. I mean, the succession plan and to see who can knock him off, that's part of the intrigue as well. Adam Silver said this to me years ago before he was a commissioner. I was in the NBA offices. I just kind of wanted to get the lay of the land. I was
Tell us what he
relatively
said.
new.
You gotta go.
The dirty little secret is nobody watches our games, and it doesn't matter.
Wow. Whitlock and Wiley, Sean Merriman, and Eddie House are back. Time for my favorite social. Time to get antisocial.
Hit him, dog.
Darnell Smith.
Sir,
Oh,
I lost the bet to Jimmy. I promised my Warriors shirt on the segment. Here's what it is, man.
Notorious B.I. Jimmy T-shirt. All right, what's popping?
Yes,
Them
sir.
Twitter streets.
We're going to start off in the NBA where D. Wade played in his final game last night. But what really got the Twitter streets buzzing was Carmelo Anthony faking his three-point shot after catching a loose ball. The Brooklyn fans were just about ready to explode, and you already know social media wasn't going to let them off the hook. Everyone was throwing some shots at him. Guys, are you starting to feel bad for Melo here?
No.
What you mean, starting?
No.
Yeah, because his love doesn't match up to his legacy and to what he is as a player. So, yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for real because he's winning in life, but y'all need to calm down on the Melo hate. It's just too much. And that's a funny moment. Like, he get the ball, he actually like that. Everybody can't have joy with that. Social media crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, they are crazy, man. You're supposed to do that when the ball comes. It's a natural reaction if you're a hooper. You're like, oh,
right,
I'm,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Oh, he's a
I
natural
forget,
ball
I forget where I'm
stopper,
at.
you're
Come on,
A natural, and he a natural shot maker too. I'm quite sure he'd have made that one too. And he was like, nah, I'm cool. It wasn't
I
a
was
good look. That's the first time.
That's what I
Hey,
mean. I was hoping he just jacked the
That
shot.
was the first time he
just
did
shoot
that.
it. First time he ever
He's like, oh, I
passed.
don't like this shot.
Y'all gotta have love for
It was
Melo.
too risky. If he shoots and miss, it would really kill him on
He
Twitter.
blamed his jacket. He'd been like,
Yeah. The chain
Yeah, that
hit him
would
in
have
the
been a
face.
meme. If he had shot and missed,
Right.
that would have been a meme.
Oh, man.
Excellent.
All right, yeah. Moving on to Paul Pierce, who's still receiving backlash after saying he had a better career than D. Wade. Someone even put together this graphic comparing his final game stats of a 0-0 to Kobe's, Dirk's, and D. Wade's historic performances. Even fans from his former team in Brooklyn last night let him have it. Take a listen. Does the truth look bad here?
No, this is winning in a major, major way.
Okay.
Look, and again, we debated this earlier today. I think this is the ultimate clout chasing. This should be in the clout chasing Hall of Fame. Him trolling D. Wade and going on that TV show and making himself more relevant in retirement than he has been in the past couple years. That TV show has struggled for relevancy. People are talking about it. This is one of the great moments in TV. Him saying he was better than D. Wade.
One doesn't go with the other. The show could be struggling. I don't check ratings. I don't know. But I know that segment is hilarious, and he does it a lot. And I'm the one that created, like, the jump step and stuff. Like, he just says stuff that he's like, I made it famous. And if you watch it, it's highly entertaining. I guess I'm a public defender of Hall of Famers right now because y'all need to get off of some Paul Pierce right now thinking he got a clout chase with Dwayne Wade when it's an argument who had the better career. You can say Dwayne Wade, but trust me, you're going to have to think twice about it.
yeah, but I'm going to say, hell yeah, look bad for him because all hoopers, that graphic alone, because all hoopers, and for sure he got an ego, right? And that's the reason why he stepped out and say, to see triple zeros out there, he didn't scratch the. Man,
Did he play?
It don't even matter. His last game, he got 0-0-0, and these guys look bad for him.
You know what? And it just looked weak. You know, and I know Paul, and I get it. He's not that type of person, but it looked weak at the time he did it. He also did the same thing when Isaiah Thomas, when they were about to do the ceremony the same night. He came out and said, I don't want his night to be shared with my night. It's just the timing that he said it, the timing he said stuff, it just looked real weak.
Yana, I'd like to retort. I want to drop my case. Damn, Paul, you a little sensitive.
I'm sorry. I love it. I think it raises his relevancy as a broadcaster. It's a great look for their television show. It's a great moment for Paul Pierce.
Next. Yes, sir. Switching over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who seem to can't stay out the headline this offseason with drama coming from their former stars. Well, offensive lineman Ramon Foster seems to have found a solution, tweeting out, any former player or affiliate of the Steelers who has an issue with anyone still in the locker room, contact me or Marquise Pouncey. These media takes might give y'all good traffic on your social media outlets, but the guys still in that locker room, who y'all still know personally, have to answer for those comments. He over here sounding like Suge Knight.
Man.
But do you think this is the problem in Pittsburgh?
Over the death row.
I'm going to be honest with you. I love this. I think, again, I think he's trying to quiet the noise and, take it up with me. Let's take this stuff off Twitter. You want to be real about it. Everybody want to act Twitter tough. You remember there used to be studio gangsters? Now there's Twitter gangsters. Saying if you were
Didn't
real,
you ever get irritated growing up with somebody trying to make everybody get quiet and they say, shut up? Why you yelling and we got to be quiet? Like, you're making it louder in here. He gonna put this out there for the world to say, and I want y'all to calm down. No, and it's weak, it's sensitive. That ain't how the locker room works. Actually, we work well through friction, brother, if you know how to address it. So instead of us just shutting up, how about y'all learn how to address it, because the noise will never stop.
And not to add this, they were the one talking. They were the one talking about Le'Veon Bell and the situation was going on. That whole offensive line was the one talking. So if you really want to address somebody, they playing right next to you.
Preach.
This ain't gonna solve anything in that locker room because the cats that was on that sucker stuff, like throwing out there, not putting their name next to it, they're gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be different. You're gonna have a different dynamic. You're gonna be looking, who was the one saying this? You know, you're in the locker room trying to figure out who was the guy saying it, and you have an idea somewhat. That's gonna divide the locker room even more.
I want Le'Veon Bell to say something right now, because he's like, what? Oh, now y'all got PSAs?
Now y'all want to stand up for him?
Antonio Brown about to say something. Just hold on.
Thank you. Come on.
Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Take it away.
All right, guys, so we all know LeBron has two very distinct group of friends. His boys he grew up with in Akron, Maverick Carter, Randy Mills, Rich Paul. Then his boys he grew up with in the NBA, D. Wade, Melo, Chris Paul. So it got me thinking, and I want to go to Whitlock first. As you grew up and your lives took different paths from your homeboys in the hood, do your professional friends take precedence over your old school friends?
I want to clarify, because one thing, let's move this away from LeBron a little bit, because LeBron has made his friends a part of his profession.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't think any of us have done, well, Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah, right. Darnell.
We ain't boys.
Shayna. You better stop. We gotta be doing the same thing.
Not our boys from the hood. Not our boys from growing up. And so that's the question. And so it is a dilemma, I think, a lot of times, because particularly if you guys, professional athletes, attain great wealth, a lot of your friends you grew up with haven't. And then it's like, when you go to Vegas, who can you hang with? Who can, without having to carry the load or a big part of the load, it's a difficult thing to do and navigate. And I've just tried to find a balancing act between the two.
I'm glad you talked through that, because I have clarity now. My three closest friends are all from the old school. One from kindergarten, one is my sister, and one is from college. Okay, two from college, actually. So that's one thing. When I was in the league, I knew that if I wanted them to roll where I rolled, that I was gonna do 75-25. Like, just show me that you ain't trying to get over on me, chip in, but I'm doing the heavy lifting. I get it. Professional friends are interesting. As close as I try to get with them all, sometimes they don't text you back, right, Whitlock? Sometimes they just leave the calendar blank when we go to lunch. So it's weird because, look at that face. Show that face.
I've been there, Marcellus.
You been there before?
I've been there.
If you don't hit me back sometimes, I'll be on the phone cursing myself out. Like, he don't hit me back.
Marcellus, we went to Mastro's, had dinner at 7 o'clock. You showed up at 10:30. I had dinner with all of your friends. And picked up the bill.
I told you
Marcellus showed up for the drinks. That's why.
With that dessert ass. But I hear what you're saying. I hear y'all.
Now, for me, you try to put the ones you grew up with on and take them with you, but they're not ready for that transition. They're not ready to go to court. So what end up being your closest friends, the one you deal with on a daily basis, are your professional friends, the one you're around the most, the ones who you deal with on a daily basis, whether they run errands for you, whether they answering calls for you, whether they're your assistant, whether they're your managers, whatever the deal is. And sometimes your friends that you grew up with, you try to put them on, and they just not ready to go through that part of life with you. So you end up being closer to your professional friends.
Well, for me, my friends that I have, they're not friends, they're family. You know what I mean? So it separates. It's easy for me, my family. I'm gonna do for my family more, and I will be there for them more than my professional friends, because family and friends are different. You know, your friends can leave you hanging. Your family not gonna do that. So for me, it's easy.
Let me clarify though, Eddie, because I get that, and we're all talking about professional friends, but sometimes when you transition into a more financially secure situation, you start making different friends who, again, it's not their professional friends, just like, oh, I'm making friends that are wealthy like me, and you become very close with them, but then you have your friends from the old days.
But to me, it's like that line of that friendship that I created with this person, and it's been, yeah, you could click with them, but it ain't as deep as that.
But you know what he's saying? Some friends can do what you do. So vacations, a lot of times, just hanging out on the weekends. Hey, we going out tonight. We know if we go out tonight, it's going to cost thousands. But everybody ain't got that.
It's called planning.
But
tell them, hey, you got to tell them 6 months in advance, hey, man, we going to go here 2 years. You got to tell them so they can save up. If y'all want to do it, yeah, I'll give you a year if we going to do that.
You remember Marcellus's birthday party?
Yes, sir.
Did you thank me for your food and drink?
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
More than that, dude walked in, took the whole bill. That's a professional friend.
You know what? I know how he. Hey, he paid for my burger last night. Thank you. Before you throw that out on another show.
Whitlock and Wiley, Eddie House, and Rick Bucher are back. Let's move to the Lakers, who have been engulfed in drama this week, with Magic Johnson shocking the team and the rest of the NBA by abruptly stepping down as team president. After a disastrous season, a lot of people are calling for a complete management overhaul, but according to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, Rob Pelinka will not only keep his job as GM, but his power is actually expected to grow. Not doubting Ramona's reporting. I do believe that's the message they're putting out. I just don't buy it long term. I think that's the proper thing to say and to push out right now, but I think they're going to do a legitimate search for a team president, and then decisions beneath that will be made.
Yeah, I buy it in the present, but once the dust settles, once they figure out which way is up, they get over the shock of Magic Johnson leaving that position. Rob probably is not long for that position either. It was a good cop, bad cop marriage. It was a tag team effort. You bring in Magic for the charisma, the lure, the star factor, and then, Rob, you do the dirty work. With your reputation, how you used to take advantage and flex your power because you had Kobe Bryant and other powerful clients and those relationships that were damaged, you do the dirty work, you do the day-to-day, and I'm Magic, I'll be the bowl on the prize. Now, without Magic there, I don't see how that combo could even work with him with someone else unless you bring in a Magic type, which are few and far between.
I agree that it's a matter of it's right now. I don't know if he's Mr. Right, but he's Mr. Right now, because they have to go out on the free agent market. The idea that you're going to go through a search, you're going to go through a thorough search, you're going to find somebody, then you're going to put them in place, and then you're going to go out and you're going to find that other superstar that you're looking for. The timeline just doesn't work. Now, my understanding is that Jeannie Buss wants Kawhi Leonard. And I've even heard that she has a certain level of confidence that she can get him. I know that she doesn't want Steve Ballmer to get him. And Steve Ballmer, that's his #1 target, and they've been working on that. So that's at the heart of this. If Pelinka gets Kawhi Leonard, yeah, I think he's not only Mr. Right now, he's Mr. Right. He gets to keep that job. This summer is going to be the referendum on that. But keep in mind, the way the Lakers work, you're working from a small pool. You have to have a family connection to Laker Nation. And Rob has that through Kobe. Yeah. And Kobe, from everything I understand, just from what I have seen, Kobe at this point is probably more closely connected to Jeannie than Magic was. And that in this battle, see, my understanding is...
Oh, yeah, Black Mamba's hands are all over this. There's
no
question about it.
For sure.
I think it's smoke and mirrors. They're looking for somebody. They got to get somebody to either appease LeBron James, because everything that we've heard about Rob Pelinka is people aren't answering his calls. They're not calling back. He's not able to Agents don't like him. GMs don't like him. How can you win with that? If that's a known fact, right? We all know that. Why would I move forward with the guy that potentially is taking an opportunity away from me, where we're trying to build and get better? We have to be on the phone. We have to be in constant communication with all 30 teams, 29 other teams. We have to do that, but we can't because of him. You have to remove that problem.
Here's what I think Rick is saying, and I kind of buy it. That Rob Pelinka went in and made an argument. Me and Kobe can get Kawhi here. Trust me, Jeannie. And she said, okay, you do that, you can keep the job. And we'll keep you in place for now.
Here's the other part of it is.
Keep talking, Rick.
I
I'm listening because that's my guy, Kawhi, over at the Clippers.
Hey, you ready for him to come to the
I'm getting ammo right here to go back and counter this. Let's hear it.
I honestly believe that this innuendo that nobody's returning calls, let's think about that for a second. If I'm another GM, if I'm another team, why am I not taking Rob Pelinka's call? Why am I not willing to listen to what he has to say or what he might be offering? I'm not doing my job if I don't do that. I believe that
wasn't that the same thing they said Dale Dempster wasn't calling him back?
Yeah.
So
it's a relationship business, so that happens.
Yeah, so
but it's a relationship business.
But Magic and LeBron were as much a part of that because they were brazen in their tampering with Anthony Davis. That wasn't, I don't like Rob Pelinka. That was, I don't like the Lakers.
But Rick,
you guys think you can just advertise you're going to steal my guy?
It's not just talking to GMs in the NBA. In football either. You got to get the agent on board as well to some degree. And Rob Pelinka has a problem with other agents.
And that's the issue with, I see the marriage between Rob Pelinka and the Lakers organization lasting. They just went through this. Jim Buss on his own trying to be the head recruiter, trying to be the guy that's going to be the gravity that everyone's going to
involved. Kobe's involved.
Well, okay, we need Kobe behind the scenes to do this, because if not, you just got Jim Buss plus in Rob Pelinka, and that didn't have any fruit. I don't think that this will.
Unlike Magic Johnson, and I don't, this is not meant as a pot shot, but it's just factual. Magic Johnson, I'm Jeannie. Jeannie Buss is my sister. She can trust me. Those words mean nothing. Kobe's loyalty to Rob Pelinka is real and legitimate and will be backed up by
And that's why you got a business and family. You got to sometimes separate that. And you got to go what the right thing is. And, listening to Kobe and feeling his family, he's telling you that Rob Pelinka's a guy. You got to get a president. So who's the president that's going to work with Rob Pelinka? Who's going to be the head coach to work with those two guys? How is that dynamic?
Kobe, man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, if Kobe comes in, is that going to say that it's going to be successful?
Kobe said on record he doesn't want to do that.
But you thought because Magic Johnson came in, it was going to be a chance.
And why?
Yeah, Kobe's not doing that job.
But if I can operate, if I can pull the strings, but my name's not on it, that's the perfect place to be. Yeah. So he has Rob doing what he wants. He has Jeannie's ear and the ability to influence how the Lakers are run, but I don't actually have to wear the responsibility for the results.
Or the criticism.
That is the ideal place to be. And by the way, I don't believe this is by accident. I believe that Jeannie Buss, when she told Magic that he couldn't fire Rob Pelinka, she knew what the response was going to be. I don't know that she anticipated that he was going to step off right as soon as he could, but the idea that it would send him out the door, I think Jeannie, when she gave the emojis and she gave him it's good knowing you, thanks for being here, I think that was genuine. It was what she wanted to see happen.
All right, before we go, I'd like to say a word or two about Anthony Davis, the T-shirt he wore Tuesday night, and what he and it say about modern athletes. In case you missed it, on the night of the Pelicans' final home game, the superstar power forward wore a shirt with the slogan, "That's all, folks," emblazoned across the front. When reporters asked him if he wore the shirt to troll Pelicans fans frustrated by his trade demand, Davis says he doesn't pick out his own clothes and that he wears whatever one of his handlers lays out for him each day. Davis, like a lot of well-to-do celebrity athletes, is treated like a 5-year-old. Clothes, thoughts, schedules, companions, food, money, and whatnot are all managed by others. This is the blessing of the wealth and fame modern professional sports provide. It's also the curse. At the tender age of 19, Anthony Davis walked off a college campus into a multi-million-dollar shoe contract and a multi-million-dollar NBA contract. He cashed his genetics lottery ticket before he turning 20. He bypassed the natural and traditional order of accumulating American wealth. The side effects of that leap are worthy of discussion. It's why I sit here day after day and orchestrate an examination of the modern American athlete. They're not who they used to be or who you think they are. Money has made them different in significant ways, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if we recognized it and changed the way we perceived them and adjusted our expectations for them. Television and its running mates, fame and fortune, have elevated professional athletes to American royalty. They have servants, they live in mansions, they have multiple homes. They're granted access and privilege by our institutions solely because of their ability to entertain. They live like kings, and more important, they think like them. They're disconnected from you, the typical sports fan. They exist in a far different world than the average American. I'm truly happy for them. There was a time I thought I could be one of them. It's a great life. Magic Johnson just quit one of the best jobs in sports because he prefers his life as a retired king. I think it's time we quit asking our modern day kings, people who haven't picked out their own clothes in years, to be more than athletes. Servants, privilege, fame, and ungodly wealth throughout your 20s and 30s aren't the building blocks for leadership in the real world. They're the building blocks for entitlement and avoidance of responsibility, a lack of self-awareness, and an outsized ego. Since 1979, Magic Johnson has existed in the same bubble as our president. It's no surprise he quit his job to tweet. Whitlock and Wiley here. Time to play You Said What? Marcellus, yesterday, you said something about Magic quitting on the Lakers and not telling Jeannie Buss in person that I want to revisit. Let's take a listen.
Everyone has been in this position before. When you're making an impossible, tortured decision. When you're like, I have to remove myself and distance myself, even if that's going to be perceived as weak, because I am not even strong enough to talk to this, to dialogue with
How about
this.
a text? You said what?
I said, what?
Are you saying that Magic not telling this woman, his sister, his boss, face to face, you got no problem with him resigning without telling her face to face?
Look, I would say it's not ideal, but I understand it and respect it fully. This is why he had a tortured decision to make. The definition of a true dilemma is you have two bad choices, and he chose the lesser of the two evils. One was to talk to Jeannie Buss before everyone else and talk about something I really don't want to do, which is be the team president of the Lakers. Because of our connection, because of our love for each other, you have the potential to talk me into being the team president, get me back on board. But if I put this out there to them, then that's going to be cemented and it's done, and I'm going to have to deal with the other bad choice of not talking to you face to face. Have you ever been in love, brother? You ever been hooked on something? You ever been somewhere where you need to distance yourself, but you don't have the power to do it? Sometimes you need an outside force to help you. The media was that force in this.
You just took me to a very painful place.
Right? Get him away. Get him away.
Listen,
Come on.
I would understand your perspective or perhaps agree with your perspective if we thought that if what Magic did had any merit, it's if he thought Jeannie Buss forced him to quit. If he thought she forced him to quit, then yeah, he don't owe her an explanation because he's sitting there saying, oh, Jason Whitlock may sit on TV and criticize me for it, but Jeannie Buss knows exactly why I handled it the way I handled it. Then I would understand it.
I hear where you're coming from, but we have too much experience in this. We partners right now. You've had co-hosts and partners before. There's a time because of the love you have with your co-host, and this happened to me, that they don't want to talk through the process with me because they know they may come to a different outcome. So what happens? They sign off on something else, which is cementing them to do a different endeavor. When you find out, they say, man, look, I'm sorry the way it came to you, but this is what I want to do best. Maybe I didn't have the strength to tell you directly because that creates a dialogue. And they know you can present the kryptonite to weaken them in that moment. Jeannie presented the kryptonite. He decided to distance himself from it and address it to the media first.
Okay, then I would have respected that more if he had put out a statement. Put out a statement. Not hold,
Mr. Personable,
not
put
hold
out a statement.
Look, you can put out a statement and then 2 hours later hold a 43-minute impromptu press conference. But the impromptu press car, I just didn't like it. But I do understand your point of view a little bit.
Mama,
better.
come get me.
That's why I kind of like. You said what? Uncle Jimmy's here. All right, let's get to your big dummy of the day.
Well, big dummy of the day go to somebody that sit up here and said that Metallica was garbage.
Ooh.
Trash is what I said.
Trash. Okay, to say Metallica's trash means Beavis and Butthead is trash. I'm not tolerating it, you big dummy.
Cool. He said Metallica.
You like Metallica?
Yes, I do. Breaking the law, breaking the law.
What is that? Is
Oh,
that
that means you
That's
ain't
a
got
song.
much. That means that's Iron.
Arrowhead
Iron
Stadium,
Maiden.
Sandman, now.
That's
what you got?
Iron Maiden.
Oh, never mind, come on.
All right, here's
Let's
a
go,
highlight.
You setting us back, people.
Here's a highlight from our discussion earlier about Nick Bosa.
I love it.
Shouting and shaming Nick Bosa into silence doesn't improve the real world. It creates hostile divisions. It opens people's minds to extremist views and reality TV star presidents.
If I'm him, I say this is just a presentation of myself.
I get that.
That I have now taken down to present the real
Rick,
me
I want
as
to
a
ask
football
you
player.
this. All right, Uncle Jimmy, we had a pretty good discussion on Nick Bosa. What's your take?
All right, bro, let's do it like this if I can, man. I don't even want to do Uncle Jimmy. I don't want to crack no jokes. We just gonna go straight. Just Jimmy Dodds, 100% real, no character.
Okay.
All right?
All right, no character, Jimmy Dodds. That's my. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jimmy Dodds.
You know, man, you can laugh, but, you know, man, honestly, let's be real. Our friendship, you know, this whole Nick Bosa thing, man, this is a classic example of what our friendship is like, you know? Meaning, you got your opinion on how something is, and it's your opinion, and that's that. And we don't always agree on always with your opinions. You have ways of thinking, that's your ways of thinking. People always go, what's Jason like? What's he like?
Right.
And I say, Jason's a different type of cat. Jason's the type of dude that thinks with his heart.
No.
Or excuse me, he thinks with his head, but not with his heart.
I hear you.
You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And honest to God, man, that's something that's hard for us as men to accept, let alone us as black men to accept. We don't like to hear that we thinking on emotions, we acting on our feelings, because we feel some kind of way. But that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, I speak on that based off of a real personal experience of me and this dude from Kansas City some 20 plus years ago.
Let me hear this.
At a little radio remote that we did. And we, you know, had a radio call.
Yeah, you
Okay, let me
working
finish
there.
the story while we cracking jokes, and then you tell me.
Okay.
All right, man, we doing a little radio remote. Had a little caller by the name of Casey. Casey got a little mouthy, a little jokey. I thought he was joking, but, you know, he got a little tough. Talking about, well, I'll see y'all out there. Real talk, okay. I look up, dude shows up. Jason's working. Dude got words. So I step up, I have words with him. Now he got words with Jason. So now I step up, oh, dude, you about this. Okay, this is how you gonna be, let's handle it. It gets out of control.
Go ahead.
Hey, it gets out of control, we have to be separated. Okay, now I'm thinking to myself, this dude is getting ready to come up to me and say, hey man, good looking out for me. Appreciate you having my back. He didn't say that. He said, man, what the hell's wrong with you? I said, what you mean what's wrong with me?
Right.
I said, hey, man, this dude disrespected me. And he disrespected you, and you should be glad that I had your back like that. He said, man, you sound like all these stupid-ass people from my daddy's club. That's all you do. And it made me think, I said, dude, I am them stupid-ass people from your daddy's club, because I was a DJ at that time. Real talk, I was DJing about 6 years.
Oh, my.
I am these people. And you know what? You don't know these streets. I saved you, bro. You should be thankful. He said, you know what? And that's your problem. With all this God-given talent you got, that's why your ass will be right here in this little bitty ass club in Kansas unless you change your ways and change your thinking most of all.
He was dropping gems on you too, man. Look, you said he's a man who's upstairs more so than with the heart. He's principle-based. So that means I'm not gonna get lost into the context of these situations because you did. You punched down somebody who's trying to take something away from y'all, and you're gonna allow and engage in that, and all of a sudden, that could be the thing that undermines what you guys had in the first place. My father has a lot of those qualities. Doesn't care about what you're saying. He's like, what should you have done in that moment? And you didn't.
It's good to say it now, but at that time, that wasn't my mentality,
I
bro.
get it.
Listen to what I said. I'm about this life.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
And I had to let you know.
Yeah.
But the thing was, he asked me, he said, hey, Jim, he said, what did he say? I said, I don't know. He said, what did he do to make you that mad?
Right.
He said, did he take food off your 3 daughters? Did you take food off their plates? I said, no. He said, did he take clothes off their back? I said, no. He said, well, man, ain't that what y'all say? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense? He said, Jim, you ain't making sense. What the hell's wrong with you? That was the thinking that I had to change. That's when I realized, boy, I got 3 kids, and I look at what I could have did. Now I got 2 young boys. And you know what, man? I really wish to God that I known then what I know now. Because now I'm trying to do what I can do for these boys, and I'm trying to teach them to use their head and not use their doggone heart and their gut. That's what I'm trying to do as a man.
I love it. Love it, man.
All right.
Love it.
That's a true story.
That's
we'll
real.
get to Nick Bosa very quickly. I got him at a 64. I like Nick Bosa. 20 job performance. He didn't play all that much last year. All-time greatest. He didn't play his last year at Ohio State. 12. 22 character, 10 authenticity. He's backed off his
Role play.
64 total.
Number 2 overall pick, didn't even play. Guess what? You a GOAT. You didn't even have to go out there and get that wear and tear. That boy is amazing on every single level. And always remember, y'all, self-respect is more powerful than disrespect.